welcome to a Thursday episode of The Couch Show. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel, Sibling Rivalry. I'm Lynn. This is Ray. We're siblings and we're here to talk. Let's talk about, the issues that we all face that we don't feel gets enough coverage.
What up, Tadashi? Back into the show. We see you in the comments, showing love.
Tadashi, we haven't heard from you in like months, literally, but since last year, literally.
Well,
so it's good to hear from you.
That's also our fault, so you can't really, throw them under the bus like that.
Well, no. So, through the grapevine, we heard that, Tadashi, that you I don't know if you got sick or you got hurt, but we heard you were in the hospital, and then that was the last we heard. So we were concerned. We were sending out, tons of positive energy your way, just hoping for a speedy recovery. I feel like, the regulars who hop on and, interact with us as we've been, going live and creating this whole channel and this whole tribe, you guys have become family. So we worry about you, and it's nice to hear from you.
For real, because it means a lot, man. Well, we're just starting out. We're just doing our thing here on YouTube, and to have people who are loyal followers that just jump on and, shoot the shit with us, and, they're just here, just chatting, giving us ideas, giving us stuff to talk about. Like, I love you guys, man. I really do. It means a lot. It's like, there are days where me and Lynn, we don't believe in this thing. Like, we're just like, we don't want to do it. But then it's like we see the comments from you guys, and like you guys are like excited, and that just gets us pumped, right? That gets us amped. So that's good to know, It's good to see that, and it's because of you guys that we keep doing this,
Yeah. Well, another beautiful day. Spring is, I don't want to say spring is here, because in the Northeast, when spring gets here, like one day it's cold, one day it's hot, then it's cold again. So we're definitely going through those up and downs right now. Today's a gorgeous day. It's, I think 74 was the high today. Got my tank top on, ready to enjoy the sunshine.
Not today. Not yesterday either, because it was like a bit cloudy. I think it even rained yesterday, but like the day before, man, it was beautiful. I mean, like beyond beautiful. Felt like summer, and I was just out there in a t-shirt. Went for my walk. I was like, man, I just can't wait. Like, I just can't wait for the summer to break.
Right.
It's like yes, I'm ready for that.
Steady weather.
Man, but we got a lot to talk about today. I got like a whole. I took notes. I was like, because Lynn was like, what are we talking about? So I started writing down all the stuff I want to talk about since we missed the Tuesday show. So I'm just ready to go in. I'm ready to go in. We're going to be all over the place with this one. So buckle up, get ready. Here we go, because we're going in. We are going in.
So I'm actually going to start us off. Have you heard about what's going on in Tennessee? Tennessee last Thursday, there was a protest. It was mainly children. I mean, not like little kids, but teenagers. It was mainly teenagers.
Gen Z. Yeah, Gen
right.
Z.
And they were speaking out against gun violence. They were there. They were using their voice through the correct channels and trying to bring about change, which is a beautiful thing when young people are getting involved in our system.
Well, pull it up, because that's not the way I look at it. That's not that me on the other side. That's not how I look at it. So pull it up. And let's go through it, because honestly, all goes back to the shooting that happened in Nashville. It goes all back to this whole trans movement that's taken over everything. And honestly, I see it as something much more evil. Something much more evil. And it's crazy that you see it that way. But let's pull it up. Let's go through it how you see it. Let's break it down with how you're looking at it first. And then I'm going to break it down some more, but let's just go into it.
So maybe I think what's happening is, depending on where you get the source of information, they always going to give it to you in an opinionated kind of way. So maybe it's just where I received the information from that kind of gave me that sense of,
True. And that's why I tell people, like, stop listening to CNN, stop listening to Fox, stop listening to MSNBC. They stopped being, newscasters like decades ago. I'm not even going to say years ago, decades ago. All of these channels are content creators. They're content providers, because they're putting their opinion on the news. And actually, that's funny, because on Twitter, Elon Musk put the label on NPR, right? And they put it as a state affiliate, which is the same label they put on Russia propaganda, China propaganda, and of course, NPR and all these news outlets are the United States version of propaganda. And it's crazy that people don't acknowledge that. Like, we really have this weird misconception that the United States is like pure and they don't do anything evil. And it's like, no, they're just as corrupt as any other country. Like, we could sit here and we could say, oh, Russia's corrupt, or we could sit here and say China's corrupt, and then we look at the United States and we won't say anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, this leads to this, where you're right, you're 100% right, where you probably read a narrative that made it seem like this is the greatest thing, but it's not.
Well, no.
Because
All right. So let me continue. So I went into it from my perspective and my background. When I was young, I did lobby for, different issues that I felt strongly about. And I thought it was amazing that, for young people to get involved, it's something that's important. It's something for us to have a voice, to be able to be heard. So I just want to say that, like the protesters, they were young. It was, it's the younger generation who's trying to speak up for what it is that they want. Now, from what I hear,
but it's a misaligned youth, and that's what we got to get. We got to address that right in the beginning. Like, this is a misaligned youth that's going with a narrative that is just, it's disgusting. And as much as like as more, listen, of course I'm gonna go down because this is me personally. I've had this spiritual awakening, and the more I go down this spiritual awakening, the more I see that a lot of this stuff, it's evil. It's evil. I can't call it any other way, but it's straight up evil. The fact that you had a trans person, right, go into a school, mind you, it was a religious school, and shot up the school because whatever your religion may be, if you do not believe in that, like, where's the tolerance that the left and all these groups, they keep saying, have tolerance for me, but yet they don't have tolerance for somebody's religion who might believe that what you're doing is wrong, right? Mm-hmm. I don't understand that.
So I don't understand the connection between that and what's going on in Tennessee.
Because it's all tied together, Lynn. Pull up the Nashville shooting. It was in Tennessee. And these are the same people who are now going against guns, saying like, oh, the guns are bad, right? Mm-hmm. When the shooting happened and it was just a mentally ill person. Once again, the guns is just a tool. We have to address the mental illness, and the mental illness stems from all of this. And we'll go into it because I'll pull up more examples, and because it's funny how all the headlines right now are all the headlines, they all tie into it. So let's keep going. But that's where this is all stemming from. So like a few weeks later, after the Nashville shooting, this is where all these people are marching to talk about gun violence, but nobody addresses the mental issue. We said that when the shooting happened, right?
Right.
We said that nobody addresses the mental issue and the fact that, this person was on medication. I think the medication they keep referring to is SSIs. I think that's the acronym. That's like antidepressants, which most of these shooters are on it. Like, it always comes out, the news always comes out, they were on this medication. Nobody ever talks about that. Like, we should be outraged. Like, there should be a protest on the pharmaceutical company, right? Saying like, hey, why do we have this if all the shooters are tied to this? But yet we can have an outrage that all the shooters use guns, right? But nobody's saying, oh, drugs, mental illness, none of this. Nobody says any of that. So, yeah, I'm all over the place because it all ties in, and I'm trying to I'm trying to like connect the lines so you guys can kind of see it, because I know like I get it because I see it every single day. But to try to get other people to see and try to get you to see it, Lynn, because once again, you're like, oh, that's inspiring. But you're just on the top level. You're not like trickling down and realize, oh, okay, these kids are being misinformed and they're being misled. Mm-hmm. So let's go down the rabbit hole.
Well, let's get into it. So why do you feel that they're being misled? I didn't see any kind of narrative in this. I just saw, people who are, tired of the violence that's going on, and they're, using the legislative. They're going into, the government and demanding change. And the biggest thing, at least what I'm reading about it, is that they're trying to get rid of the 3 House representatives that were, supporting their the protests. And that's really all the information I have. So
So pull
Yeah,
some
you're
more
saying like
information up.
it ties in, like there's a narrative, but
Let's pull more information in.
okay.
So that way we're both informed. Pull the article up. Pull an article up. Try to find it from a neutral source. That's the hard part, finding an article from a neutral source, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pull something up and let's go through it. Like why are they trying to get rid of the three what do you say, the three?
The Tennessee three. There were three House representatives present during the it wasn't even a sit-in. Like they came in and they were chanting, and then three Democratic House
What's this news
representatives
source? What's the news
stood
source
up
that
with
we're pulling
them.
up right here?
This is
What's the news
NPR.
source that
Yeah,
NPR?
it's a different
All
source
right.
here.
It still leans
And
to the left, by the way. I'm just gonna put that caveat out there, but let's go through it. And as we go through it, I'll call out when something is opinionated. But once again, it's not just about gun violence. It's not. This whole thing stemmed. The whole shooting started because Tennessee went strict on trans rules and trans regulations.
mm-hmm.
Let's go through that. Let's clarify that because that's what motivated. That was the call to action for the psycho to go and shoot up a religious school. That was a heinous crime. But once again, they're brushing it under the rug because of the fact of who the shooter was. And I hate that. I hate when there's a crime and they'll polarize it, right? Because of the way the shooter may be. But then once there's a shooter that doesn't fit their narrative, they brush it under the rug, So
Mm-hmm.
let's keep that in mind, but go ahead and go through the article.
Yeah, it was the House protest following the Nashville school shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So three of the representatives actually used megaphones. They stood up and they were leading chants right there in the House. And then, I don't know if it was a National Guard or just like the local PD were actually escorting the different House representatives out. So it was just, they made it seem like it was a huge, like walk in and like, oh my God, they were like in fear of their life. But really, these are just like young people who were in there protesting, which is our right to do.
Yeah, but once again, we had this narrative, right, that we had since, the January 6th insurrection, that
Mm-hmm.
whenever there's a protest on government property,
That's
wouldn't
what
that be
they're
considered at this
labeling
point an
this too.
insurrection? So it's
Right.
okay when there's an insurrection because it's, on one side, we'll use the
Mm-hmm.
terminology as insurrection, right? But then when it's on the other side, what's the terminology we're going to use? Peaceful protest or whatever it may be, right? So let's have some kind of consistency throughout, whatever it may be. If they're protesting in a proper area that they're supposed to protest, okay, let them protest. That's our First Amendment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the second they step on government property or government grounds or whatever it may be, however you may want to look at it as we're the taxpayer and we should be there, blah, 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 blah. Let's be consistent. Once again, let's be consistent. And this goes back to the same thing with what happened on Tuesday, where Trump got indicted, 34 counts of whatever, right? Jacked up to a felony. But let's be consistent. You're going to tell me that there's no other politicians in the history of America that broke rules, that broke laws? So why don't we be consistent? You want to go after a guy who paid off somebody, right? For having sex. I guarantee Bill Clinton did that. Are we going to arrest Bill Clinton? What about Hillary for destroying, what was it, 30,000 emails, classified emails or whatever? We raided Trump's, home for classified information. Are we going to arrest Hillary now? No. So this is it's constant. It's constant where it's this double standards, this double language, and it's in everything. Like I have a bunch of other stuff that we can go through where I could show this like double standards. And I'm so sick and tired of it. And this is why I felt this call to action to get on here and like start calling this shit out. And then now is not the time to be tolerable. No, because the more we become tolerable, the more they're gonna walk all over us. Now it's time for us to stop. We gotta call this shit out. Call it for what it is. Call it out. All right, so talking about all of this right now, what's trending right now on Twitter, right, and everybody's talking about it, is Dylan Mullaney. Pull up Dylan Mullaney. Pull him up.
All right, so Dylan Mullaney, Tennessee. That's hilarious. It
No,
goes
not
straight
no,
to like
not
all
that,
the
not
TikToks.
not Tennessee. Just Dylan Mullaney, just a name. Um, so right now, so let me give you some back information. So Dylan Mullaney is a biological male who is trans female, right?
Hmm.
And did you spell the name correctly? Scroll
Probably
up. Where are we at?
the men's golf dude.
No, scroll up. No, no, no. Scroll up to your search bar. I gotta see what you typed. Stop scrolling around. So Dylan is Dylan, and then Mulaney Mul. What is it? Uaney. I think that's how you spell it. I'm surprised that Google didn't like say, "All right, this is what you're looking for." Right?
No, Google has no idea what I'm looking for.
Dylan, this guy, I don't understand why Google
Yeah,
is being
that's
so
how you
difficult.
spell Mullaney.
Well, it's not the golf dude. And I go to news. Go to news. You need to learn how to search better for the show. I can't see. The screen is so tiny on my phone.
Well, give me more information. You said, all right, I'm just gonna put trans then.
Yes, 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 please. Yep, you spelled it wrong. See, that's not how you spelled it. Wah wah. There we go. There she is. All right. And once again, like I don't have anything against whoever, whatever you want to be in life, be it. What I have against is this whole movement. And once again, there's something evil there, and I'm calling it out. I'm calling it out for how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's me because I'm being more spiritual, and I'm starting to have that awakening, and I'm starting to see more evil. But this to me is just evil. But yet, women voted for this. Women voted for this. So this is the final effect of feminism, right? Feminists was, hey, we wanted to be equal. Then it took it to the next level, which was women are superior, and now it took it to the utmost level where guys want to be women. So here we go. This is what you guys breed. So let's go into the news, right? So Dylan Mullaney is making headlines because she's on TikTok and she's I guess she's the epitome and the whole uh um I don't know. She is the woman of the year right now, right? She
Mm-hmm.
is the woman of the year. Mind you, she's a biological male. Let's
Okay.
keep that in mind. She's a biological male. She has now endorsements from Bud Light.
Mm-hmm.
So do a search for Bud Light and you can see her can. Where are we? What are you doing?
Bud Light. All right.
Bud Light. So she is the big endorsement. She has her own face plaster on a can. I don't know if that's going to show the can or not, but scroll down. So she's now the face of Bud Light, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
Um,
it's not gonna show the can.
which, yeah, which there's a big outrage now because Kid Rock made a video going against her. A lot of people are boycotting uh, not just Bud Light, but Anheuser Busch as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if she also got endorsed by Nike. So pull up Nike, which is crazy because she's selling sports bras, by the way. And to me, once again, they'll say, "Oh, I'm being ignorant or I'm being hateful because I'm not being accepting." But why is she becoming the spokesperson for all these companies? And you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
tell me that there's not an agenda to try to make people to be confused and want to change who they are? Like I don't understand that. Yeah. So, and once again, there's an outrage by women out there. Women are now calling for men, like, men, please help us, please help us. And I'm like, no, you voted for this. This is the stuff that you guys voted for. Like, as a man, I am laughing. I'm applauding it. I'm laughing it, and I'm like, this is what you guys wanted. This is exactly what you guys wanted. So scroll up. I want to see if they show the commercial because to me it's hilarious. And I feel like I look at her and I'm like that's a like almost she's almost like joking or laughing at women. Like she's a character, like she's a, you know, when they take those drawings and they make fun of you of your features and everything. And
Mhm.
the guy at like Central Park draws your face and he makes it all like you know, your flaws and everything, and he embellishes it and all that stuff. Like that's what I see her like she's a caricature of women right now. Like that's not how women should be or how she acts. Like really, if you look at her TikToks and stuff, she acts like a little girl. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't know. To me, it's just crazy that this is who, you know, corporate America and all these companies want to say that she is the woman of the year, or you know, they're all gravitating towards her for all this advertisement. And I'm like,
Mhm.
who's this for? And if this is not for anybody, right? Then you got to tell me, you can't tell me that there's not an agenda there.
That's insane. I haven't even like heard of her. I had no idea this was going on.
She was invited to the White House.
Mhm.
She
Invited to the White House for
yeah,
what?
she was invited to the White House. She was oh, I forgot what. Hey Fuzz, welcome to the show.
Yeah, he said they're making her the next. Well, they're making him the next Rosa Parks.
Mhm.
Mm. So is she the one? I think Nike has a new sports like athleisure wear line out. So is that the line that I guess she's behind?
She's behind a lot of things. Like those were the two big names that I mentioned, but like on there was a tweet where it listed all of her recent um oh, she's doing it like advertising. I think it's for like tampons or something like that too.
Mhm. Shut up! How the hell is she doing a tampon freaking
Look
commercial?
it up. Look it up. Look it up. This is the clown world we're living in. Look it up. I wish.
What?
Listen, I hope I was lying. Oh, this is the
Is
commercial.
this the
Please play
ad?
this. Play this. This is the Nike one. This is the Nike one.
At Spectrum, we've built a
Oh my
network.
god.
Ah, there's an ad.
Just mute it. Just mute it and let it play through. Oh, they always get you with the advertisements.
Yep.
You know what, it would have been funny if it was actually
Helped
an
businesses
advertisement and it had
thrive.
Dylan Mullaney
One
in
that
it.
over 80% of the
As we're
Fortune
talking
500
about it, like
rely
just a
on,
random ad.
along with millions.
There's definitely a 35-second ad.
Oh my
All right, so I
goodness.
don't know. I don't think that the whole sports bra it makes any sense at all. All right, let's see. Let's see. We got past the ads here, guys.
Just play it. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Wait, this is the ad?
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
For sports bras. For sports bras. And I'm telling you, like she's doing a advertisement for tampons. You
Mm-hmm.
can look that up too. This is crazy. And everywhere you look, right? It started with and you know, and people were calling this for years, right? They were calling for years, oh, the slippery slopes. And nobody's like, oh, you're a bigot, you're a bigot, you're a bigot. And now, fast forward, look at where we are today. And this is all this progressive voting that is literally it's gonna like, but I laugh about it. I laugh about it because now as a man, all you have to do is say I identify as a woman, and you're gonna get a heads up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I look at, like, I was watching on Twitter, and there was this a father who had his son and daughter. I believe the daughter was like 14 or 15. So teenagers, right? The daughter was a teenager who could emancipate herself. But the father had, I guess it was CPS. I don't know who showed up because the police were on the other side. But I'm watching this video,
Mm-hmm.
and these like goons just come, and they literally grab the kids from the father, right? Because there was a court order that says the kids had to go back with the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, the kids brought up in court that they were being sexually abused at the mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
And so one, the little boy, he's screaming his head off. The daughter is like fighting. They had like two guys had to carry the daughter, right? She's holding the door. There was at one point they were pretty much like getting her undressed because they were like moving her, and her pants started coming off.
Yeah.
And this is on Twitter. Mind you, once again, we have this jacked up court system that de facto's to the mother, right? Mm-hmm. But once again, I'm looking at all this about this whole trans movement and all this, and I'm like, yo, listen, this is a chance from fathers, right, out here to just say, I need to identify as a woman, and now I get an equal footing in court. I mean, that's what this is all showing, right?
I mean, that sounds like the loophole, but something tells me that's not how easy it'll be.
It could be like that South Park, South Park. Yeah, it really is.
Said, nah, America's a freak show right now.
I'm calling it out because Lynn, once again, as much as Lynn is starting to see this, like Lynn is taking the red pill, she's kind of purple. She still believes in that bleeding heart stuff. And I'm like, you got to understand, there's so many layers to this and so many like agendas that are going on right now. And once again, like I'm going to get called 1,000,001 names. I know it. But it is what it is, because to me, it just seems cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So, there's that I think the South Park character, I think it's Mr. Garrison, where he put on one day he decided he wanted to be a woman, and he just puts a wig on, right? So fellas, if you're scared of getting divorced, or if you're scared of like dealing with your child custody, just do that. Just be like, I identify as a woman, come into court with a wig, and hopefully it doesn't matter if you're a good dad or anything like that. It doesn't matter if you're a good person. Just say I identify as a woman, and hopefully we get the Dylan Mullaney treatment, I think it's crazy. I just it's crazy that, and then it's like women they see this and they're like, oh man, you gotta help us, man. Stand up for our honor. And I'm like, I ain't standing up for shit. I'm like, I'm worried about other men out here who are getting hosed by the system. So it cracks me up, man. This whole thing cracks me up.
When you get a chance, I got a quick story to tell you. Go ahead
and type it up as we go. Yeah, throw it in the comments. We'll go over it. All right, so I got a lot of stuff. Like I said, I got a lot of stuff. So we'll keep the story moving. On the topic of double standards, I think that's what this episode is going to be about, is just double standards. Mm-hmm. So earlier this week, your boy Marcus Houston, you remember him?
Nope. I'm gonna look him up.
I think he was on that one TV show, and I think he was on a boy band that you were like really into, like back in the day. Mm-hmm. But if you Google his name, you're gonna pull the article. Yeah, you're gonna pull the article up about him. So everybody's all up in arms because he's like, I think he's in his late 30s or something, and he married a 19-year-old woman, right? Mm-hmm. Who's legal age, right? She's legal. And everybody's up in roars, right? Mind you, we just
it's right here. His first question about him: did Marcus Houston marry a 19-year-old?
yeah. So everybody's up in arms because here once again, here's a guy. I call it the Leonardo DiCaprio effect, right? Here's a guy who has status, right? And as much as men want, may not want to deny this, or even society and all wants to deny, men love younger women. Listen, women are in their prime where they're 18, right? And men love younger women. So he has status, he has money, he's gonna go for somebody younger. Leonardo DiCaprio does it, right? He's gonna do it, and every other guy out there, who's not programmed into all this nonsense is gonna do it. So
Right.
anyway, there's this whole big hoopla, right? And then, we were just talking about how crazy it is about what was it, MILF Island,
Yeah.
where it was a TLC or whoever did a TV show, and it's the reverse, right? As far as older women with
With
younger
younger
guys
guys.
who could have been
Hmm.
their sons, right? And they made a TV show about it, double standards, right? So everybody's talking about it. Everybody's trying to, shame this dude, insult this dude. And I was posting on a few comments. I was like, it's double standards. It's like she's
Hmm.
an adult, right? She's an adult. She's 19. She can, because they were like, oh, she can't drink. She can't do this. She can't rent a car. She can't like book a hotel. That's not an adult. I was like, she can join the military. She can vote. She can start an OnlyFans page. She can do porn. She can be,
Hmm.
do modeling. She could go to college. She could do all this stuff that you would, if she did it and an article came out about it, you'd be like, she's so strong and independent, and you would applaud it, right?
Hmm.
But because she married an older guy, oh my God,
Which
she
is
doesn't have
crazy
this.
because woman to woman, like, good on her. Like, she got herself, she locked him in, like, she got the marriage certificate, and he's older and he's established. Like, I think she did good.
Not for anything though. But pull his picture back up. I mean, he still looks good for his age. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't look like he's older than 20 to
right.
me, right? And so like if they're happy, like
Hmm.
what's it to you? But once again, it's those double standards, right? It's double standards for, there's no accountability for women, which I'm gonna prove, but for men, we gotta be, traditional, we gotta jump through all these hoops and all this BS, right? So on the flip, Nick, Ali, I'll spell it. I'll just spell it. I can't say it. So do a search for Nick Olivas. This story was crazy. When I heard about this, I was like, "Yo, we gotta talk about this. This shit is crazy." And then, of
Male
course, news.
statutory rape victim
Yep,
must pay
child support.
child support. Wait.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Became a father at 14.
Uh-huh. He didn't know about it. So pull the article up. You got to pull the article. We got to go backwards. We got to tell the story.
All right, well, that's Facebook. I'm not going on this one. Let's do this one.
Yeah, just pull one of them. Yeah, Arizona.
So Arizona is requiring a male statutory rape victim to pay child support. So a 24-year-old man who impregnated a 20-year-old woman when he was 14 is being forced by the state of Arizona to pay $15,000 in back child support and medical bills, in addition to 10% interest, even though he was the victim of statutory rape and never even knew he had a child until 2 years ago.
Yep. Double
What?
standards much?
Holy shit!
Yep.
That's beyond insane. Holy crap. So she was 20 when he was 14.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, mind you, going back to Marquez, right? He there was rumors that he was talking to her at 17, but 17 is still whatever you may want to say about it. I mean, some states that's still the legal age of consent.
Mm-hmm.
I think some states 16 is the legal age of consent. Would I do that? No. Am I going to condone it? No. Am I going to go against? Like what it is, what it is. Legally, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
14 though is not. Let's
true.
clarify that. 14 is not. But once again, and you see it all. Wow, Arizona bro was a double victim. Yeah. Double victim indeed. Because for whatever you may, and you know what? It's this whole thing where it's like, listen, I had it when I was a teen, right? There was the librarian in my school that was like very attractive, and I was like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
I wish she could, great me. I'll admit that. But the matter of the fact is that she's still an adult by our laws, right?
Right.
By our rules and regulations, she's an adult. And no matter how much you think that teen wants it, you're still violating the law.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know. To me, it's crazy. And it's double standards because you'll see it over and over again that when it's a woman who, Did this
You
with a
see,
teen. They just get a
but
smack on the wrist.
so with this case here, with the the boy in Arizona, the man in Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
how else would we expect this to play out though? You know, like now he is 24. He does biologically have a child. You know, like what? I don't
So
know. Like
you're okay. You're
what
okay
other
with him.
outcome? What other
You're
outcome could we
okay.
really be looking at here?
You're okay with the court system going after him for child support?
I don't think it's all right to go after him for this arrears. Like, don't go after him for shit that already passed. Like, that's done and over with.
So you think
But
moving forward,
he now has a 10-year-old child. Like, is he going to, I don't know. Like, what responsibility does he have towards this child?
so moving forward, you believe he should pay 8 years of child support for something he got into, but didn't have the mental fortitude or the mental understanding of what he was getting into. He was a child. If this was a woman, right? If this was a little girl, right? You would be saying that she was a child. Yet once again, I have yet to hear from you any kind of accountability on a woman. Like, she did this. She took advantage of the child. Where's the accountability on the woman?
Right. And
like, why
I
do
mean,
you
that's a
stand
question
with the
too.
courts
Well,
having
that's
to go
why I'm
after him for child
asking.
support?
That's why I'm asking, like, what other outcomes, could we possibly have? Because it's right. Like, say she was a teacher and there was like a teacher-student thing. Like, all right, now she's losing her ability to teach. She's losing that prestige, being able to be a teacher.
No, she should be in jail. I mean, sorry, but there will be guys. If guys did this to a young teenage girl, they would be in jail.
Okay,
and like R. Kelly,
say,
right? R. Kelly's in jail right now, right?
So say they do that. Say they throw her in jail. Is this man at 24 years old now going to step up and be the father to this 10-year-old?
No,
we're not thinking about the child.
Listen, once again, no. And I'm so sick and tired of this whole child support thing. And who was it? Dave Chappelle said it. He was like, listen, if you guys want to argue and have the right for an abortion, then I should have the right to my wallet. Once again, child support should not be a thing. I'm sorry, it shouldn't. Ladies, you got to be held accountable. Like, we need to live in a society where women have to start stepping up to their accountability. Why are you sleeping around with a child, possibly getting impregnated by a child, and then expect this child to get a job and pay child support? To me, that makes no sense. There's no logic in that.
It's not like she took him to court 10 years ago. She took him to court now when he's 24. He's an adult at this point.
But she raped him at 14.
Let's from the comments. It says, to be honest, he should pay child support. When I was 14, I knew a baby would ruin my life. See, 14 years old is an adult. He knows right or wrong.
So a 14-year-old girl, right, should know right from wrong. So when she sleeps with the teacher shouldn't get in trouble for it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, I'm not saying
all I'm hearing is a lot of double standards.
I'm not saying, hey, she needs the help. I'm not trying to protect her. I'm talking about this child. This man is now 24. Yes, this is something you could say it was a mistake he made when he was younger in his youth, but now he's 24.
It's not a mistake.
He has a 10-year-old child. Listen, and you don't feel he has any responsibility towards this child?
If this child at 14 had a vagina, you would be saying she was raped. So let's clarify it.
So let's switch sexes. Because at 14 years old, if you are raped as a woman and you have a child, now you have that child for the next 18 years, right?
No, you don't.
This is one of those topics that's always a hot button for me. Because when there's a child, the woman is stuck with the children and the men have it scot-free. Men can walk away. Men can disappear. Men can just say, I didn't want you to have that baby to begin with. Like, this is a very hot topic for me.
Once again, you could get all heated all you want. But me, on the other side, there was times where she got pregnant. I was ready to be a dad. And guess what? I didn't have a choice. So once again, men do not have a choice.
You have a baby with somebody else.
Once again, men do not have a choice when it comes to sexual reproduction.
Yes,
right?
And it's okay that way because at the end of the day, if the man wants to walk away at any point, he can. At any point, a man can walk away from a child.
You choose to get knocked up. So don't act like women are not accountable. Once again, no accountability. We live in a society that has no accountability on women. You could choose to sleep with the guy. You could choose to be protected. You could choose to be on birth control. You could choose to get an abortion.
Okay.
How many more choices do you have before you could be like, oh my God, it was me. I'm a woman and I had no choice.
But
Unless
I'm not saying anything about no choice. I'm talking about for the man. If a man has a child, he needs to be responsible for that child. Period. There is a double standard when it comes to kids. Men can't say, "Oh, don't have an abortion because I want the baby." But he can walk away.
You literally have women on here saying, "My body, my choice. I can do what I want." Men never had any say in the decision when it comes to sexual reproduction, right? When it comes to reproduction out here, if I want to have a kid, I can't. She has to choose. If I want a kid, I can't go and say, I'm going to choose you. I'm going to force you to do this, right? Because that's rape, right? So it can't. A woman has to choose. And yet, once again, when a woman makes a bad choice, there's no accountability. No accountability. Double standards. Once again, double standards. This whole show is about double standards.
I don't know. So Drunk said, no, Lynn, women give babies up all the time or have abortions.
Have abortions. Exactly.
Okay. There's hella options for women.
Hella options, yes. Do you know that we still don't have birth control pills for men? That's crazy. You're going to tell me that with all this modern medicine, we can't figure out how to make sure that all men out here are shooting blanks? Mm-hmm. Do you know how many guys would jump on that in a heartbeat? Come on. Come on.
A man can physically walk away, but he can't financially walk away. That's not true. That's not true. Like this guy. So bro was 14. You can't assume that he was fully knowledgeable about sex or how babies are made. That's no. Was he in school? He knows how babies are made.
Once again, when the tables are turned, when the roles are flipped, right? When it's a 14-year-old girl, they're gonna say, "Oh, she's young. She's a girl. She was manipulated." That's the word they love to use. She was manipulated into having sex with this man. So you're gonna tell me that the manipulation wasn't there, and there's still no accountability on this woman? None. You literally are going to justify that he should go to court when he was raped. That's crazy.
No, I'm not justifying it.
This is crazy.
I'm just saying, like, he had a baby. But he now has a child.
I'm so glad that y'all getting replaced by Dylan Mullaney. Here we go. Bring it full back. I'm so glad. Because this is your toxic. This is women's toxicness. This is women toxicness that is taking over society. What? You guys are getting replaced by dudes. That's crazy.
What?
Crazy. Keep being with that liberal heart and with all you want to argue. Go ahead, Lynn. Go ahead. Do your thing.
See, Fuzz is with me. He's calling BS. Like, if that 14-year-old boy didn't know that that's how you make babies, that's bullshit.
Listen, I thought women were going to get replaced by sex bots. I was like, yo, AI is coming along. We're going to robotic sex bots. Nah, y'all getting replaced by dudes. Y'all pushed it so. Listen, do you understand what feminism did? First wave feminism was like, we want to be equal. We want the right to vote. Then came the next phase, and then we're in like fifth, sixth phase of feminism, where it's literally saying, yo, guys, be women. It's cool to be women. We're superior. That's literally where we are. So you know what? All this guy needs to do to get out of paying child support is say, I'm a woman, and I was raped. That's it. He just got to be like, I identify as a woman, put on a wig, go to court, and be like, Your Honor, I was 14 and I was raped. And I'm a woman, by the way. And all this whole discussion out the window.
In today's society, a male can never be victimized by a woman. That's why the court ruled that way.
Exactly. That's why he needed to identify as a woman. And then he would have been like, I'm a woman that was victimized by another woman. And then the courts would have been like, oh, you know what? The judge his head would have exploded. I don't know what he would have done. He would have just been like, oh, I don't know. They're two women? They're two women. Yeah, they're two women. I don't know. What are we doing? I don't know.
The Drunkle's view, he says 14-year-old male, people would say he wanted it. Where a 14-year-old female, she was taken advantage of.
And once again, it's just a mindset. If you say 14 is a child, this goes against, listen, I'll go with the same argument as far as saying like if a 13 or 14-year-old says they want to do a sex change and they're now doing all these surgeries and they're allowing it, I would say no, it's permanent. This is permanent. And listen, the mindset I had at 14 is not the same mindset I had at 24, which is not the same mindset I had at 34. And it's definitely not going to be the mindset when I turn 44. It's like we keep evolving, we keep changing. So what makes you think that a 14-year-old should decide if they want to do a permanent sex change? Yeah, this is the same argument. This is the same thing where I would say, you know, if you say a 14-year-old girl can't have sex with an adult male, right? Because that's still the standards, that's still the taboo, right? I showed you Marquez, who was dating her possibly at 17, but she's 19 now, and this still taboo, right? When they got married, still taboo, right? I don't understand how we're still having this argument when it's when it's a 14-year-old child.
Right.
Be it a sex change, be it sex, and that's crazy child support. Like, listen, that woman should sacrifice. Listen, that woman has to. Listen, that woman has to deal with it because she should be thankful she's not in jail.
That's very true.
There should be no child support because he was a child, and she should have to deal and be held accountable for what she did. And the accountability should have been jail.
Now you know what?
Be glad you're not in jail. The accountability is now you got to raise your child on your own.
You can't.
You decided to make a child with a child.
You can't say that he wasn't responsible because if this was two 14-year-olds who had a child, he would still be financially responsible for that child because he created a child.
Yes, but it's not. It's an adult that's in the scenarios who should have known better. And the adult should have known better not to get pregnant.
That's not to have that kid. Like, why would she have that baby?
Right? Not be on birth control, have a condom, have an abortion. Or if you're going to have the kid, shut the fuck up and keep on moving. Excuse my language. But once again, accountability. This is a society that we are living in a society that holds accountability on men, but lacks it on women. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine because we're going full on clown world. Y'all getting replaced.
We also don't know everything because, you know, like maybe when she went to court, what if he wasn't like,
you feeling this show today? Sorry to cut Lynn off, but if you feel this show today, smash that like button. Give us some love because we're heated right now. Mind you, listen. I want you guys to know that once we get off the air, me and Lynn, we have a great relationship. I love my sister. We're always going to talk about this shit. We'll always have these. We've been doing this for years. I mean, years. This is how we are. And listen, none of this stuff is ever going to go between family. And that's the most important thing is like, yeah, you know, it's crazy out here. You know, hug your family close. You know, keep your family close. Keep your friends close. You know, tell everybody you love them because you don't know when your day's coming, right? You don't know. You don't know. So all this stuff, listen, it's getting crazy out here. It's getting crazy out here. But we get heated, but that's it. It's just an episode.
They're going back and forth in the comments.
Listen,
14 years old. All right, no, hang on. We already said that one.
Can you imagine being held accountable? Listen to the craziness this society has. Can you imagine all of us were 14 at some point? Can you imagine us being held accountable for something we did at 14 and be held accountable for 20 years? That's traumatizing. Yes. That's scary.
If you have a child at 14, you're responsible for the next 20 years.
Not at 14. Like you didn't have your kids at 14.
But if I would have had them at 14, I would have been responsible for them for the next 20 years.
I don't know. To me, that's kind of messed up. Well, seriously, you mean to tell me that if there was an older teacher, a 20-year-old teacher in your school that got you knocked up, you would want to have that guy in your life when you were 14 years old?
I mean, if I was sleeping with a man at 14, it would have been because I was in love.
So would
I have wanted that man in my life 20 years later? Probably not. I would have been a completely different person. But at that time, yeah, I'd want them in my life, and I would try and keep it like safe. I wouldn't want anybody to find out about it. I wouldn't want him to get in trouble for it because in my mind, I'm a willing participant. Which is why I'm saying we don't have all the facts with this story because, you know, maybe he was sleeping with her because he wanted to. Maybe he initiated it. Maybe he was that 14-year-old who wanted it so bad, and you know he was just smooth and he got the pussy.
So once again, there's no accountability on the woman who's a legal adult, by the way. Who, if this roles were reversed, they would have been like,
I'm saying it was wrong.
He manipulated her.
It was absolutely
if it was a 20-year-old guy, they would be like, he manipulated her. And mind you, R. Kelly's in jail. For the same shit, R. Kelly's in jail, right? Marquez is getting canceled over here for marrying a 19-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leonardo DiCaprio gets hated every single time he switches to a young model again, right? But once again, no accountability on women. So I'll digress. We
No, I'm saying she
agree
was
to
wrong. She
disagree.
was definitely wrong.
I'm sorry. You can't expect a child to pay child support.
But he's no longer a child.
But he
Fast
was
forward,
great.
he's no longer
He
a
was
child.
great. He was great. By all the definition, he was great. So I don't understand why. And I am saying, yes, I am saying great because, you know, YouTube algorithm, you know, we got to make sure we don't get flagged for that. But I'm going to keep saying that because once again, I don't think it's clicking in people's minds because we got this double standard in our society. So call it out. I'll call it like I see it. You don't expect the victim to pay money after they were great. I'm sorry. That's just, it is what it is.
All right, what else do you have on your list?
The rest is just entertainment. We could go a little light after this. We've been talking for like about an hour, but yeah, it's we can go light.
Has it already been an hour? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Time flies. All right, so I'm gonna go back up and I'm gonna find Drunk's story. So Drunk. So I went to this party last weekend and it was a group of women I was talking to. One mentioned she was an alpha female. So Ray, you know I had to do the alpha female is feminine thing.
Uh-huh.
When I say they turned on me so quick, you would have thought I called somebody a hoe.
Yes.
Holy crap. I went from being flirted with to being outcasted in minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would commend you, Drunk, and I would say stand your ground because honestly, at some point in life, if you really do want to settle down, you gotta go for those red flags. Mm-hmm. And if she's really that, if she can't hear that, if she's that outburst, then she's definitely filled with masculine energy. And you don't want that. You don't want that. You're gonna be competing with her throughout your whole relationship. Mm-hmm. Now,
that's absolutely true. You guys couldn't have just had like a conversation about it and like, you know, just both put in your perspectives. That's not somebody that you can communicate with.
If you're just trying to have fun that night, yeah, that kind of, you know, you just shot yourself in the foot, right? But keep that mindset. Keep that mindset. All the stuff that we talked about, you know, asking about her debt, you know, telling her about, you know, just the man, the woman and man dynamics, right? Just talk about it and all that stuff. You know, if you're going to be the guy, you know, because once again, men are pigeonholed into traditional roles in society. That is held upon us to this day. Men got to be gentlemen. Men got to pay the bill. Men got to blah, 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 blah. But yeah, there's no accountability. As we just saw in this last discussion, there's no accountability on modern women. So where does that accountability comes from? That accountability comes from men loving thyself, right? The number one tenet I keep putting out there, love yourself, to understand that what is it that you're, you know, what you want out of life. If you are that guy, if you are a high value guy, you do believe in that, right? You got a good job, you have a good head on your shoulders, you know, you come from good morals, then start filtering out these women. You got to start filtering out these women because society won't do it. As we can see, there's no accountability. None. And that's scary, man. That's scary because society is 50-50, right? Half men, half women. And yet half of the people in this, you know, and I wouldn't even say in this world because there's other places where they still, you know, there's still tradition and all that. But let's just say in America, half of the people in America are still held to this traditional standards that's falling apart, right? Because we hear it all the time. Dating is dead. Marriages are dead, right? Divorce is sky high, right? Single mothers, right? Broken homes. We hear it, see all the stats. We hear all the stats. It keeps going up. Numbers keep going up, right? But yet half of society, or not society, half of America are being held to these traditional standards while the other half are just having fun out here and there's no accountability on them. There's excuses. We hear excuses all the time. And we just heard one today. I'm sorry, Lynn, but you're still on the programming. You're still on the programming. With all of the stuff prior to sex, you still don't hold women accountable. I gave you 4 prior to her getting into that bedroom. And this is why my whole thing with abortion is like, if abortion was banned across the board, I guarantee women would step up and be like, well, I don't have this option anymore. I'm going to do what I have to do. They will be held accountable. They would start doing that accountability on themselves. So yeah,
I don't think so. I think if abortion was illegal, we would just have an increase in births.
No,
That's it.
No, we won't. No, we won't. I think more women would be responsible because the argument will always be, oh, what about the rape victim? Or what about but the reality is abortions are being used as the first form of contraceptives.
Yeah, it's true.
Really
I had
90%.
I talked about it before. I had a college roommate who she had either 3 or 4 in just one semester. Just one semester. Because abortions back to back. Like, what the fuck?
That's crazy. Yeah. Oh, and there was a clip. I wanted to show you this clip because you don't believe me when I say that women have high body counts, like in the hundreds. And there was a clip where it was like this dating thing and it wasn't a dating thing. It was just a bunch of women, and it was like a bunch of guys, and they needed to guess how many, what their body counts were. The guys had to guess what the women's body counts were, right? Mm-hmm. And there was one woman who had 300 body count, another woman had 100, and I'm telling you,
what the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy out here. And then of course, I've seen articles pop up here and there as far as like CNN and all this saying the dating is dead and marriage is dead. And guess who they all blame? They keep blaming men. And I read these articles and they're like, oh, the dating app, men have options. And I'm like, bro, you got it backwards. It's women who have the options. It's not men. Men got to swipe like 1,000 times before they get like 1 or 2 dates. Women are just like bang, 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 bang. And it's like world over, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, they're like, oh, well, the porn is making men turn to porn so they don't have to go out there. Yeah, 300. Yeah. And I want to pull that clip up. I want to pull that clip up because it's not the person you thought it was. That's the scary part. Like you see them, and you're like, oh yeah, she's the one with 300. Mm-hmm. And they flipped it. It was like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It was a twist at the end. I was like, yo, I didn't see this coming. Oh, I didn't see it coming. The one who had the 300 was the least, like, that was the one I thought was the virgin. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. And the one who was the virgin, I think she was lying. But she said it. She was like, oh, I do oral and butt stuff. And I'm like, that's still sex. That's got
it is.
What are you talking about? Just
oral sex is sex.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, I do this, so that's why my number's at 0. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Doesn't count. That's ridiculous. Okay. But you know what? That's her form of birth control. She ain't getting pregnant in the booty hole.
Yeah, exactly. Option 5. Thank you, Lynn. 5, accountability. Here's a woman that's being accountable. So she's never gonna get pregnant. See what accountability looks like?
That's ridiculous. That is not accountability. That's just in her mind, in some bizarre way, she thinks that she's saving it for something.
For what? I don't know. And then the CNN article goes down, and they're like, "Oh, dating is dead because men, with the evolution of dating into online and dating apps, that men have options, which is not true. Women are the ones that have the option, and that men, whenever there's an argument, right? Because they have an abundance of options, they can walk out and move on to the next woman. I'm like, that's women. That is literally women. And I'm so sick and tired of like all these narratives constantly defending women. It's not like that. It is not like that. So you know what? Kudos on Jung. Hold your ground. Weed them out. Raise all the red flags you got to do, like Mario, right? Oh, shout out to Mario.
Women will never be held accountable to the same standard as men in this country.
They will. But we got to go faster. We got to go deeper into the collide. We're not even we're about halfway there. But we got to go deep into clown world before they're held accountable again. Mm-hmm. And once again, I just sent Lynn a text message right before the show started. It was a link to Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. It's a woman calling for the appeal of the 19th Amendment, which is the 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote. So I'm telling you, once we get more into the decline, once we get more into this whole progressive narrative, and we get more into this clown world, yeah, then we'll go back to traditional values and we'll go back to having women accountable.
So this is what Ray sent me before, just before we went live. It says, give me a current event that is dooming our nation, and I'll tell you how the 19th Amendment made it possible.
Pull it up. Pull it up. Ooh.
I can't. That's it. That's it. A woman told me that she really didn't start going crazy. A woman told me that she didn't really start going crazy until dating apps became popular. Then her count jumped high.
And oh, we're back, right? We're back, right?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. If you really want a little mind blown as far as what's pushing all of this stuff, it ties into the Trump indictment. It ties into this whole trans movement, LGBTQ, whatever, Dylan Mulvaney, and it even ties into the dating apps. Do a little research, do a little homework, and see who's behind all the dating apps like Grindr, Tinder, all of them, as well as all your major porn sites. See who the creators are. Do a little homework.
We're definitely, we've become a hypersexualized society. And it reflects in what we consider a rated R movie and what we consider a rated PG-13 movie nowadays. Like it's completely different. Things have just become so explicit, so vulgar. It's what we've allowed in our society.
And unfortunately, like I said, once I go down that spiritual road, I started doing a lot of research. I listen. I'm very analytical. I like taking in information. As you can see, I'm always coming on here with a bunch of topics to talk about and stuff like that because that's all I do. I want to consume information, right? And once I started realizing, me like following the Bible, going into this whole spiritual journey as far as my relationship with my God, and going down that rabbit hole. I could see my blessings, right? So I know there's good in this world. I was like, well, there's clearly evil. And I started going down that rabbit hole as far as evil. And there's a clear evil message out here, clear evil agenda. And it's crazy that not many people are seeing it.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because it's clear as day. It's clear as day. And I told you the other day, feminism sucks out your soul, right? And I said, like, you could pull up prime example. Pull up Rachel Maddow, right? Pull a photo of her back when her I think her high school photo, and now look at a photo of her today. I'm telling you,
Rachel Maddow.
Rachel Maddow, and I'm telling you, feminism, that whole mindset, it sucks the soul out of you, man, because it's evil. It's all evil. And think about it. Just think about it. How it's not about equality. It's about being one up. It's about being one up. All these movements is about power. It's about being one up. Yeah, do her high school photo.
All right, so this was her in high school.
Yep. And now look at her now. Pull that one with the glasses. It sucks the soul out of you. I'm gonna keep bringing them up because this is my thesis. I'm gonna stand by it, but it sucks the soul out of you, man.
All right, please. I'm just finding the gross again. All right, before y'all go, Cash App founder found stabbed to death. What?
Yes, sir.
What?
San Francisco too. I had a buddy when that came out. I messaged my buddy. I was like, "Yo, be safe out there, man." I was like, "This guy." I don't even know why he was out. He moved out of San Francisco and he was just there for business. But even then, I'm like, "Yo, you're so dirty rich. Why not have security with you?" Right? Why not have security? And they found him, like he was like trying to get help, and they found him.
Yeah, the next day, government supposedly dropped some FedNow digital currency app. Damn.
Yeah, on top of that, the IRS is hiring another 30,000 agents, by the way. They got like another $1 billion like money. So they're gonna go at all of us hard.
Woo!
Now that they're going for your Cash App, they're going for your Venmo, they're going for your
Mhm.
Zelle, they're going for all that.
Because they know those have all been kind of like under wraps, especially
Yeah.
during COVID. Especially during COVID, when we saw all these small businesses just boom.
Yeah. And once
Person
again, don't take everything you're hearing for face value. Like the biggest thing on Tuesday was the whole Trump indictment. And I'm like, what are they trying to? They want you to look left because they're doing something right.
Right.
And right now, the biggest one that they're pushing right now is this whole TikTok ban. Like they're all TikTok. We got to ban TikTok. And the reason why they want to do it is because if you look into that bill, it's like another espionage bill. It's just like the Patriot Act, where at this point they're going to be like on everything. And who was the guy who was all he did was he was putting out memes, right? And they sentenced him to like what was it, like 10 years in prison or something like that for putting out memes. It's crazy. Oh shit! Sound like the ice cream truck. I was ready to go outside. I was like, Amara, the ice cream truck.
So, all right. So I went down the rabbit hole over the weekend where how we were talking about like all the polluted water and everything, right? Well, I read an article about it's not the United Nations. It's like some other group that's come together and they're trying to like fight global warming. And
is it who?
It's not the WHO. It's another one. It's like one that we don't really hear about. And so during their last meeting, they were talking about pushing for the possibility that if the government designates a piece of land uninhabitable, either because the water is contaminated or they feel like the land is, just contaminated in some way, they can legally move you off that land and they'll put you into like these cities that are popping up all over the world now. So I went down that rabbit hole and I actually pulled up a clip.
I 100% agree with you. Now, remember those episodes where we were talking about the pods and how they're going to transform cities and they're going to have us all on top of each other and everything like that?
Yes. Those are the 15-minute cities.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you because one of the things that I heard when the first train derailment, which was that in Ohio? Which one? Where was the first one?
I think it was Ohio. It might have been the first one.
Right. Well, they already said, like, there was an article that came out that said all their home values just dropped. Mm-hmm. Like, boom, instantly. Like, you just lost, like, they dropped, like, 90% of the value of their homes because of what happened. And nobody's going to want to live there, right? So, yeah, is this coordinated? Yeah, I've been saying that this whole time. I've been saying it's been coordinated. Now,
So this group is also talking about they want to bring about major change by 2030. That's their goal. So we're also hearing that like Kofifi was just a test run of, being able to get everyone in line, everyone in order, and, using the whole guise of, this property is no longer inhabitable. It's, it's polluted, it's contaminated. They're going to start pushing us into these cities. And, everything is going digital now. So they're going to be able to tell us like, hey, you did something wrong. You don't have access to your money for these couple days. And it's getting crazy out here, guys.
Well, we already have the social credit score. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. Like insurance companies or any business that wants to deal with you, they'll look at your profile as far as like Facebook, Twitter, and all this stuff. All these companies, they have what's called ESG. Look it up, ESG, which is like the mandates that all these companies has to fall under. So if you're not telling the message, if you're not following under the agenda, they're gonna oust you. And a lot of these companies are doing it so they could get federal money, federal funding and federal money, right? So, what's ESG? Ethics or something? What is it? What does it stand for?
I don't know. I'm looking up environmental social governance.
Yes.
Is that it?
So once again, this ties into your whole thing where you were like global warming and all this stuff. So all these companies out here, they're all following the ESG and they're getting an ESG score.
Yep. So it says the primary language the financial world is using to represent attempts to measure the risk or opportunity to a company or investment stemming from environmental and social issues.
Yes. So
The G part
social as
refers to the
far as
company
like,
manages the governance of these
yeah,
issues.
so environmental, right? This whole green initiative, right?
Mhm.
Which once again, this is a hill that they're standing on that, oh, we got to save the planet, right? Which you can pull up articles from like the 70s, the 60s, the 70s saying, talking about all this stuff, right? So this is the same constant message that they have going on, but now it's more impactful as far as in corporate America, right? Which is ESG. And then social is all this woke ideology, all this nonsense. This is why, once again, ESG scores, right? This is why you have, Bud Light having, Dylan Mulvaney as their spokesperson, Nike as their spokesperson, right? What was it? The whole hoopla with M&M's the other day. Even Disney going so woke to the point where they're ruining all their IPs.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give kudos to Universal, because Universal is actually still striving, still being, Universal is the creator behind Mario, right? Shout out to Mario this weekend. It looks like they're gonna do an amazing weekend at the box office. And once again, it's because they cater to their fans, right? They're not going into this whole woke nonsense. They're catering to the fans. People wanted a good Mario movie. They gave it to them. And then Universal, unfortunately, at some point, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, right? They stood by Harry Potter, right? I heard there's going to be a Harry Potter TV show coming out soon.
Hey, I'm about it. I'll watch it
on HBO. Like they're gonna do a reboot, and they're gonna do.
I just canceled my HBO subscription.
You gotta go on the high seas. I gave you access.
Ah!
Didn't I give you your official pirate badge? What are you doing?
Very true. That's very true.
But once again,
I'm saying y'all show got such a great theme, but we be talking about some dark stuff.
Hey, but you know what? You see it coming. You can't call it a sucker punch if you saw it coming, right?
He also said, well, maybe it's time to go off grid before the party really starts.
Yeah, but what he also said was, and shout out to Drunk, that's a great comment. He said cities, aka concentration camps, 100%. That's the reason why they want you in the cities. Better to control you. The better to control you. Cities don't have guns, right? Mm-hmm. Cities are a centralized location for food, right? Cities has centralized location for everything. You can't grow anything. You can't be self-sufficient. That's the reason why they want you there.
Yeah.
It's the reason why they're pushing. But yet, look at all the cities that are collapsing. All of them. We just talk about the CEO, the creator of Cash App got stabbed. Like prison. Like they shanked the dude. They shanked him. That's crazy, man. Like what was that HBO show? The prison show at HBO?
Orange is the New Black?
No, that's on Netflix.
That's on Netflix.
But the one on HBO was back in the day with a BC. That was the guy's name. He's like the black guy who wore like a little beanie cap. But he shanked him. Like, damn. I'm dating myself. That show was like
The Wire, but that's not it. Is it The Wire?
No, The Wire was dope too. But that was like in the 2000s. That was like early 2000s.
Yeah, that wasn't really in jail. It wasn't in the prison system. I don't know.
Yeah, for real, Junk. HBO Harry Potter. I'm kind of psyched for it. And they do like kind of like Game of Thrones, like put that kind of production value behind it. And I'm not, it's still gonna be PG because it's Harry Potter, of course. But put that production value behind it, like they did with Game of Thrones. I think it'll be a great IP to, But if they go into this whole woke nonsense, which HBO is starting to do, it could kill the show. That's what happened to Star Wars.
They already showed that Dumbledore is gay.
Yeah. Which is okay.
They brought that in.
Listen, it's okay that Dumbledore is gay. It's when you make the whole narrative about that.
Right. And that's
you
what
can
that's
have
what I'm
inclusive
saying. Like,
characters.
It's not like they just threw it in there like, hey, this is Dumbledore's husband that we never talked about. Like, no, they brought it in like, oh, well, now we're gonna show you the backstory of like how this kind of came to be.
For example, when Lynn messaged me today, like, hey, what's the show? What's the show gonna be about? I gave her a 2-word response. Mando sucks. The Mandalorian this season sucks ass. I hate to say it because I had high hopes for this show. And it was my last gasp of breath for Star Wars as a Star Wars fan. But this season has been all over the place.
Which is crazy because 2 things I noticed from, yesterday's episode, the latest episode. One is that like they are really bringing like the characters in the world to life. You know, like they're starting to show us different characters, and that's one of the things that, you know, made Star Wars so big to begin with. And the second thing I realized is that shit, what was the second thing? I don't know. I'll come back.
You'll come back to it.
I'll come back to
but it's sad because I don't know. I didn't like the last episode. I mean, the cameo was sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong. I love the people who are in it. It's just it took me out of Star Wars. Like when I see a cameo in Star Wars, like I don't want that. It's the reason why, you know, George Lucas, when he first started Star Wars, he got no name people, right? It's the same thing. It's like I want to be lost in the world. I don't want the actor to take me out of that world, right? One. Two, as much as I love Bo-Katan, right? She was great in the cartoon, she was great in the animation, and she's a strong character. They're hijacking the show, right? They're making Mando look dumb. Well, she's not a dumb character. He wasn't dumb in the first two seasons, but they're making him look dumb because they're trying to put her front and center. Mm-hmm. So like some of the memes I saw, they're like it's the ma'am DeLorean, like it's her show now, and it's like it really sucks. It really sucks. It's like I just want a good Star Wars. Like, this was it. This was the last like gasp of breath for good Star Wars, and they gotta force that agenda in there.
Yeah.
Like I just wish they would fire Kathleen Kennedy.
It's funny because as I'm watching it, like I hear you in my ear. I can just like hear you commenting. I'm like all the stuff I'm seeing on screen. I'm like, oh, this would drive Ray insane.
Yeah. And honestly, like the whole Lizzo thing, like everybody's going hard on Lizzo, and I don't mind it. Like, listen, she did her thing in the show. Really, the one that really took me out more was Jack Black being in the show, because I know Jack Black. And I was like, why is he in my Star Wars? Like, that's the one that really got me, right? And like everybody's going against
Lizzo with the Fortnite back bling.
Yeah, everybody's going against her, and I'm like, you know what? Whatever. She looked like they made her look good in the show, whatever. And like a part of the episode I liked because it brought me back to like the Clone Wars and the animation, and it was kind of cool seeing that in live action. But other than that, it was just like, I just feel forced. Like, you know, you put this whole lore behind the Darksaber, and like you got to win it in combat, and then all of a sudden there's a loophole that now he can hand it to her, and she gets everything. I'm like, oh my god, this is just like what they did with
even the fight scene, scene between her and the dude that I guess was like in charge of her whole fleet while she was gone or whatever. Like, it just seems super unrealistic. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, like men and women, when you put a man against a woman, the man is going to win. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Right. With sheer strength. Like she would have to do something where, like the fighting style where you use the person's weight against them to like kind of disarm them and take them down. Like if she would have done stuff like that, or maybe use more gadgets and stuff like that, like you said, make it look realistic. But it's just, I don't know, man. And I love Bo. I loved her, like her whole backstory. Just recently when I went to Disney World on the way back, me and my youngest, we were watching, you know, all the animation, just going through the episodes that tied in with the Mandalorians and, you know, Mandor and just, you know, Bo-Katan's whole story and all that. So I rewatched it recently and I was like, man, this is a really good story. And just to see the way they're going, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's shoehorned in. And once again, it's because of the narrative, right? Gotta go woke.
Yeah, Mando can't fight, swim, or do anything when Bo-Katan is around.
Yeah, Bo. Yep, exactly. mind you, he showed in that episode, right? With the episode where he sunk and she had to like dive in to go rescue him. He showed that his helmet was like airtight, right? He was like, okay, I don't know if the air's good, and he's like walking around. Oh, the air is good, and then it just shows like, oh, I've got it.
Which kills me because, you know, you guys heard, I thought he got pulled down. I thought for sure like something pulled him under, you know, I thought he was in distress. And to find out that he just sunk, that was just like, what the hell?
Yeah, like a lump, like a bloop. No. And
Mandalorian is terrible this season. Forced Grogu scenes, gotta stop. He serves zero purpose.
Yeah. And I don't know. There's rumors that I read rumors online saying that they were when they fired Gina Carano, she was supposed to do her own show, And because of that, like they took parts of season 3 and they put it into Boba Fett. That's why we have those 2 episodes with Mando and Boba Fett. And those episodes were supposed to be Gina Carano and like her spinoff for her show. And I think they kind of scrapped some of that stuff in that show and they put it in this show. And that's why we have like these episodes that kind of doesn't make any sense. Like the one episode with the doctor and the one episode where they go here and there. Like those were supposed to be like the Republic, the Republic or whatever, going there and helping these new cities and stuff like that. So like I feel like Disney is scrambling and like they don't have any direction. When I thought they had direction, and it could be once again, John Favreau with Star Wars, even Kevin Feige with Marvel. I feel like these guys are being told by higher up Disney, like you got to do this. And then this is the reason why now it's hurting their IPs. It's hurting Marvel. It's hurting Star Wars. It's like they're being forced to do this stuff, and it's just you're losing the story.
Yeah.
And slowly you're gonna lose the fans.
Yeah. So with the Darksaber thing, it was terrible writing. He thinks literally they're making the episodes week by week.
I think so too.
That's how it feels. That's how it feels.
I think so too. And there's if you look up Disney, was it? No, Star Wars. What's it called when they write out all the stuff? Like what's going to lead into it? Yeah, they have sketchboard. Like there's one that's out there. I guess somebody took a photo of it while they were developing like Star Wars, and like you could see like all the stuff. It's like diversity, inclusion. Like they even had that. They had diversity on the list twice. That's how crazy it is. Like somebody circled it. Like diversity here, diversity here. Like how many times do you need diversity? So when they focus on that. Once again, what takes a sideline and takes a backseat to everything is the story.
The story itself.
And once you lose the story, it's your entertainment talking down at you. And I don't want that. That's not entertaining to me. I'll go see something else.
I mean, I really checked out of like movies and stuff when they started really focusing on the stupid funny. I don't like stupid humor.
Marvel's been doing that. Yup.
So, I feel like that's something else that's kind of being, put into The Mandalorian this season. And I did feel that with Grogu, with his scenes. It's like they're pushing that, I don't know, like they want it to be like comedy, but it's not comedy. It's just like it's supposed to be cute, funny. Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's stupid.
So there's a terminology. When a show and it came the terminology came back from like days of like Happy Days, the TV show that was kind of like your issue of the week type show, and like you had some kind of growth in the show, and then at some point it just came, like you said, just comical and all that. The saying is the show jumped the shark, because literally in that show, in that episode of the Happy Days, I think the Fonz like jumped over a shark, and ever since then it's been iconic that when a show loses its magic, it jumped a shark. And this season, it's clearly with Baby Yoda jumping all around, and it's just he was cute, he was great merchandise. I was like, how damn freaking Disney, you got a new merch you could sell, and they sold an abundance of that little dude. But season 3, he lost his luster.
All over my house.
Yeah, he definitely lost his luster.
Placemats.
Yeah,
they definitely.
I can't think of another character that sold as much as little Baby Yoda at the time. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, Baby Yoda!" But now it's like I look at it and I'm like, every episode, it's cringy just seeing him there. Like he doesn't serve the story any purpose. Now if they would have done something where maybe there was like. Maybe the story was, Mando and Bo, and then, we cut and we show, Luke training Grogu and all that, and that was the season. Yeah, that would have been a little more fitting. But, bringing him right back just so he could be, comedic relief throughout the episodes, it's just, I don't know, I'm losing myself throughout the episode.
I mean,
there's 2 more episodes left.
He also is, like growing his powers throughout this
season. Is he though? Just doing corny ass shit.
He was definitely helping Lizzo cheat at the game.
I feel like they kind of pigeonhole themselves with this character, because it's like he doesn't age fast, right? So he's not going to be talking anytime soon.
Mhm.
Like, what was it? The very first season, they're like he's 40 or 50 years old,
Right.
and he's like a 1-year-old baby. So I'm like, they limit themselves with what they could do with Grogu. So it kind of made sense that they took him off screen and they can focus on Mando, and he didn't have that hurdle of always, protecting, this puppet. So
Mhm.
it is what it is.
Like I said, I just told
Yeah,
someone the other day,
yeah,
this season of
yeah.
Mando makes me realize how good Andor really is.
That reference, no, the one where he said all Grogu does is spam the jump button. It reminded me of like when somebody's playing Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, and all they do is that one move, or they keep
Right.
sliding, they do the slide kick, and you're like, you try to get over it, like stop, you just don't want, you just mashing buttons over here. You try to do your combos, and they're just getting that one button just sliding into you. It's like, geez, man. It's freaking hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have hopes for the last 2 episodes. I'm like whatever. I'm gonna watch it, and it's like, ugh. Listen, they jacked up Boba Fett, they jacked up Obi-Wan.
Mhm.
Um, they're gonna jack up Mando, and of course they
Mhm.
jacked up the prequels. So it's like they just don't understand Star Wars, man. They did for a brief second. We had hope, right? We had hope, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So, Lynn, are you gonna go see Mario this weekend?
Probably, yeah.
It
That's
looks
definitely
good,
on
and
the
from
on
the
the list of
reviews.
things to do this weekend.
So of course, Chris Pratt. He came out. You know who Chris Pratt is, right? He's the guy Star Lord. He's Star Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in the Jurassic Park movies. So I don't want to say he came out like he was a
Oh, I know him.
conservative.
Yes.
He just came out. I think it was on Twitter or like a while back. He was like, oh, that he was like religious and all that. And I think he's married to Arnold Schwarzenegger's like daughter or something like that. I know
Mhm.
he's tied into that family, but he just came out that he was Christian and religious and all that. So he's the voice of Mario, and of course, if you go to
Mhm.
Rotten Tomatoes and pull up Mario right now, all the critics are like bombing the movie, and all because I think the movie came out last night, so people are going to the movies and watching it. So all the fans are saying it's great, fan service,
Mhm.
it's what I wanted. But look at that, 98% for the fans, right? Regular people, 54% from the critics.
Mm.
Now, once again, if you're gonna tell me, I see that, and I'm like, how can you not tell me there's a clear agenda to attack people if you say you're a certain this? I'm for traditional values. I'm for Christianity. I'm for whatever it may be. There's a concerted effort to destroy you, to cancel you. That's crazy. I don't know. I just had to bring that up. But yeah, I heard the movie's great, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. Yeah, definitely have a house of Mario fans over here, so we'll be seeing it.
Nice.
So, drunk. I never
But
trust
I'm
the
all,
critics on these type of movies because it's Mario. I'm not looking for a deep plot line.
exactly. I'm just looking for my childhood, and that's exactly
Mhm.
what people are saying. They did a lot of fan service in the movie. I saw one
Mm.
clip. They even brought back. I don't know if you guys remember that when Mario like first came out, he was featured in that Donkey Kong game, and he wasn't even named Mario. I think he was named like Jumpman or something. They brought
Mhm.
him back, and like there's a cameo of him. I was like, oh shit.
Mhm.
So it's like all the history of Mario. It's like, me growing up with that's my childhood. So I'm ready to go see that. I'm like, all right, cool.
Right.
Give me all the cameos. Give me all the remember berries. But also, I'm rooting for this because I want Nintendo to do more movies like this. I want Pokemon fans to get a Pokemon movie, right?
Mhm.
I'm looking for the Zelda movie, right? I want more of their properties to get more movies. I want like if this movie does really well, they're gonna greenlight all these projects.
Right.
Can you imagine like a Smash Bros movie? Like after they put out Zelda, after they put out
My
Pokemon,
youngest
after
would
they
go
put out,
crazy for
and
that.
then they finally bring them all
Crazy.
in, and they're like, "We're doing a Smash Bros. Movie." Yo,
Mhm.
everybody would lose their shit. Like, oh, Smash Bros. Like I want them to do more movies with all their properties.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm saying. Like Universal right now is killing it. Universal is killing it. You know, they're expanding their theme parks. They're doing great with all the movies, right? Like what they have, Despicable Me, right? Doing great. Harry Potter doing great. Mario looks like it's going to be doing great. Another IP. It's like
Yeah.
they're the next Disney. That's what I'm seeing. They're the next Disney as Disney continues down this whole path of being woke.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. Did you hear what they did with the Little Mermaid?
I haven't seen it. Did it already come
the
out?
Little Mermaid?
I
No,
did. I
the
heard
recent
about it.
news
We spoke about it.
No, the recent news. Like not that they made her
No.
black. No, that beyond that.
No.
They are now changing the lyrics to the traditional songs. Like they changed the lyrics to one of the songs to include like consent and like all this nonsense. Like the songs that they've been living off of this IP for years in Disney World and all this merchandising and all this stuff, right? I think how old is like the Little Mermaid? Like 30 years old, something like that, right? And they went and they changed like the songs and the lyrics. It was crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
They did that with The Lion King, and as a true Lion King fan, I didn't like it at all. It pissed me off. And it wasn't even like an agenda thing. They changed the songs. They changed songs. They added songs. I was like, this is not The Lion King.
They did it to The Lion King. They did it to Aladdin, and they also did it to Beauty and the Beast. Which Beauty and the Beast, I kind of passed it, right? They made what's his name gay or whatever, and I passed it because overall the movie was great, and it felt like it felt like a live action version of Beauty and the Beast. Well, what we used to watch when we were kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I watched all these movies with Lynn. Right? I have a little sister. We watched them notoriously. The Lion King. I can't imagine how many times we watched The Lion King. It was like
back when we would rent the VHS, And
no, we owned. You had them all. We had them all.
True.
But like I believe it was The Lion King was definitely number one. Aladdin, and then Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid. Those are like the nonstop watching it with my little sister, and like. I don't know. They're getting worse with it though because it was settled with Beauty and the Beast, which was the first one, and now it's just like they just keep going worse and worse and worse. Did you hear that they're making a live action of Moana?
I did hear about that.
With The Rock. The Rock made the announcement that they're doing a live action.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, people are like, "I'd rather have a sequel than a live action," but whatever.
That's true.
They're like it's too soon.
True. And it was, you know what? It was a good story. It was a good movie, and Disney with their Disney magic, like the music was awesome. So a part 2 would be awesome.
I feel like the Rock was just like, I need another payday. I don't have another franchise. I got all pissed off with the Fast and Furious franchise, and now I'm not in that no more. He's like, I need to think of something. He called up Disney. Hey, Disney, let's make Moana. It's like the Rock needed a payday.
Tris is in the comments. Hey, Tris. Welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Man, we're seeing all the familiar faces today. I'm loving today's episode. For whatever it was. We talked about something. Man, we've been all over the place on this episode. But I'm just loving seeing all the new faces. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pull up Junk's comment. Yeah, The Rock, the freaking Black Adam. He was supposed to be in like 5 movies as Black Adam. That bombed, so he doesn't have that paycheck anymore. Right? He got all mad with Vin Diesel. He's like, I'm not doing Fast and Furious no more. So he's out of that, right? So he's looking for a payday. So he's like, yo, what can we do? We're going to do 5 Moana movies, live action. Let's go. And all the normies are going to go. I got to stop. I got to be nice. I'm going to be nice now. I'm going to be nice. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, Rock gotta get paid, man. Rock gotta get paid. Oh, so you know how side note, WrestleMania was this weekend. I saw my little guy and we had a blast. But you know how I was talking about how they were like they would never bring betting? Well, they did. They brought betting. I was like, oh shit. It was DraftKings. Like DraftKings actually is doing the betting with them. And it was like not who would win the matches, but like how many times, a wrestler would spear somebody or how many, what would get, destroyed in the ring first, right? And I was like, oh, shit. Well, they got betting now. I was like, okay. All right. But did you hear that WWE got bought out by UFC or their parent company? So their parent company is Endeavor, and
Mhm.
now Endeavor owns UFC and WWE. So I
Okay.
was like, interesting, interesting. Where does that take? What happens? Who knows? We'll see.
TBD.
TBD. But on that note, that's all I got. I ain't got nothing else. We went through all my topics.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of The Couch Show. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit that like button. It helps us with the algorithm. Yeah, have a beautiful weekend, guys, and stay positive. Just hold on to the positive.
Go
Or
catch
raise one
Mario.
happy with it.
Go catch Mario. It's your childhood. Enjoy it. Be a child again. Love you guys. Have a good weekend.